Thank you, Serious Sim and Saber Interactive, for the code. Just a PSA to the parents out there, you know that Three Dads on a Console is always a kid-friendly podcast. However, this video does have some language that you probably don't want them listening to, so just a heads up.
There's speed, a blinding glare, a car crash, the final roar of an engine dying, the pain, then you die.
I was sitting in my office, playing Heading Out, and memories of watching movies with my stepdad came flooding back to me. Road classics like Smokey and the Bandit, Duel, and a touch of Thelma and Louise filled my mind as I drove my hot rod down a barren highway in the middle of Wisconsin, running away from my fears. Developed by Serious Sim and published by Saber Interactive, Heading Out is an immersive story-driven game, pun intended, where your decisions change the narrative. You play as the nameless, faceless character nicknamed the Interstate Jackalope, outrunning your fears that are constantly chasing you across the continental United States. When starting up the game, you're asked some really tough questions that will weave your story based on your answers. I have to give major props to Serious Sim because they have a screen warning that if you have trauma, it is possible how you answer these questions that you could re-experience that trauma. So using random answers would be better. It's a small thing that I'm sure a sect of the internet will probably be mad at, but good on you, Serious Sim, for addressing it.
You wake up in your car. That dream again. The accident. It felt so real. The phantom pain of every fake injury pulsates through your body. The radio turns on by itself, snapping you back to reality. Dean Spencer's familiar voice drowns out the sound of your heart pounding.
As the Canadian Civil War enters a critical phase, the U.S. government decided today to close the Mexican border to minimize the risk.
The news is disturbing, but also somehow comforting. You've heard it before, but there's no time for a break. That thing after you. It's getting closer and closer.
There are two major parts of this game: decision making and racing. You'll spend a lot of time in your car. The car itself almost acts as another character. In each of the 4 acts, you have one goal in mind. For Act 1, you're determined to defeat the greatest racer who ever lived. To do that, you need to travel throughout the state and interstate highways across the continental US. You'll stop at cities along the way to make a choice to explore the city or keep moving. Exploring the city will bring up a new interaction that will lead you to another choice. This choice could do something like give you fame, raise your wanted level with the police, or make you lose some money. It seems there are endless situations that you can find yourself in, which changes how your character is viewed in the eyes of the populace and the law. After you explore the city, you can choose to rest and build your focus or fix your car. Focus is required to keep you awake at the wheel. I made the mistake of not paying attention to my focus meter, and as I was racing, my character's eyes kept closing, making it difficult for me to see. Thankfully, I was able to finish the race and didn't fall asleep. As you make these decisions, your fear follows you. The faster you drive, the quicker you outrun it, but it's always there, tracking, following, watching you. The other aspect of this game is driving, and Heading Out handles driving really well. Using a controller feels smooth, and honestly I wish I had a wheel set up so I could try that out as well. Most of your driving will happen in races, challenges from story beats, and characters to see if they can defeat the world famous Interstate Jackalope. Races aren't done in a typical win 3 laps sort of fashion, instead you have to be in first by the time the song ends. It's hard to express how good driving makes you feel, but this is good driving. The turning feels very well tuned. Using your brakes into turns and gassing out of turns feels really good. The driving is fun. It's smooth. It's great. And everything is wrapped up by what this game truly brings to the table: sound and look. The game is a beautiful palette of blacks and whites, grays, a little bit of yellows, and some reds. Your world is black and white, almost ripped directly out of a scene from Sin City or some noir comic book. Red is used when a hazard is coming, taillights of other cars on the road, police lights chasing you down, or even fear on your own map as it follows every single twist and turn you make trying to outrun it. Lastly, the sound is exceptional in this game. Every car's engines sound different when accelerating, and the soundtrack is just incredible. Listen to this. Really, really good, right? Like, I need it on Spotify soon. Another thing that helps in the audio department is various radio stations you'll listen to as you drive towards your goal. These radio stations are varied depending on where you're driving. Sometimes in the middle of the Midwest, you'll get some evangelical jerk telling you you're scum and should drive off a bridge, or
Steve freaking Landry, a true American, a devout Christian, a patriot, a father and a husband, an entrepreneur who created the most powerful conservative talk radio in the country. From scratch. Congressmen, senators, lobbyists, presidential candidates, TV evangelists, media personalities, actors, producers, everyone knows who Steve Landry is. They're listening right now, along with 3 million other Americans. A proud white American with a gun and strong conservative views. That's who I am, you left-wing scum. Your worst nightmare.
a newly divorced woman using the radio waves as her own therapy session. Or a radio host that immediately falls in love with you and uses her voice as love letters of sorts.
Hold on. This is it, folks. This is the hero we always needed but never deserved. The whole city's in a state of fucking paralysis because this chick just made the grandest entrance of her life. And I don't care that you're all so convinced she's a dude, because that dude's a chick. Mark my words.
What I really like about these radio stations is the hosts also play into the narrative that you're telling. Did you outrun the police? Maybe Riley at Revolution Radio talks about how wonderfully rebellious you are. In a world where it's all about results, many of us forget that the journey is the story itself. Heading Out does a wonderful job of making the journey memorable and varied, so multiple playthroughs are encouraged. I can't say enough about how much I really enjoyed my time playing Headed Out.